Okay, my name's Jim Roberts. Y'all know me. I spoke here last time in April regarding the generally hauling abandoned landfill. So obviously, if I got 3 minutes, we're not going to solve anything in 3 minutes, obviously. So I'm just the packet I hand out you. Basically, I just have 10 questions that I'm requesting Franklin County answers. So, pursuant to Missouri Sunshine Law and the public's right to transparency, I, Jim Roberts, respectfully request a written response to the following 10 questions. I ask that this request and subsequent responses be entered into the official minutes of this commission and provided to me in writing at 256 Mill Springs Road, Union, Missouri, or my email, millspringsfarmllc@gmail.com, within a reasonable time frame. It is the public policy of this state and the actions and deliberations of public bodies to be open and documented for public record. So my 10 questions that I and the public would like answered is question 1. What is the commissioner's plan if this EPA's Brownfield Assessment Grant does not get approved or Senate Bill 1586 doesn't go into law? According to Jim Wild at East and West Gateway Council of Governments on October 8th, 2025, Franklin County is the owner of the generally hauling landfill parcel number 215210000003100. As you are aware, it has multiple violations of the Clean Water Act and needs addressed immediately. And then I see Exhibit 1A, which is an email from Jim Wild stating that information. Question 2. If the EPA's Brownfield Assessment Grant gets approved, do you anticipate enrolling into the Brownfield Voluntary Cleanup Program as DNR stated they expect you will? You can see Exhibit 2A. That is a copy of DNR's email to you guys regarding that. 3. Why has the County Commission not shown public support for Senate Bill 1586? This bill would simply dissolve Franklin County from liability. There was not one county commissioner that sent in testimony for this bill. And with Dave being prior president of the Senate, I mean, that's just tells me you guys don't care, because that bill would essentially take care of this issue. So when I downloaded the testimony, so if you look at Exhibit 3A, that is all the testimony that was submitted. Nobody from Franklin County submitted support for that bill. 4, this one's pretty important. Why was a memo sent out from the county's assessor office on 11/20/25 stating that, quote, this property is not to be discussed with anybody? Old landfill, no longer in use, not reclaimed, could be 100+ years before land can be used. This is concerning that the county is not notifying property owners in the area of the potential health hazards. I personally supplied test results from DNR to you guys at the last commission meeting that spoke on March 27, 2025. And you can see Exhibit 4A, and that's a copy of that memo that says where Franklin County is not to discuss this property with anybody. That's horrible. 5, as a known abandoned landfill, why has this property been sold multiple times at tax sales? Franklin County has been aware of the condition and leachate outbreak since March 18, 1994, according to the 94 Missouri Attorney General Enforcement. You can see Exhibit 5A. The Franklin County courts were aware of this back then, so there's no excuse that Franklin County was not aware. Question 6, as a follow-up to the prior question, how was the property sold at the last tax sale for $45,000 with no disclosure? And I have the copy on see Exhibit 6A for the newspaper ad. It didn't say anything about a disclosure, and that was in the public paper. The county refused to return the money to the purchaser. This has happened not once, but 4 separate times. Then suddenly, the BOA on December 6, 2024, valued the property at $0. How does property value go from $45,000, which it sold for at the tax sale, to $0 in 4 months' time? 7, I, Jim Roberts, had a phone call with Ken Cox on May 5th, 2026 at 2:10 p.m. I'm sure you remember that conversation, Ken. During that conversation, Ken informed me that the Franklin County Commission is a part-time job and that's per state statute. Quote, look it up, unquote, is what he told me. What state statute is this? I sent you an email and I never did get a reply from that. Question 8. During that same phone call on May 5th, 2026 at 2:10 with Ken Cox, He stated he hadn't forgotten about me, but was tied up with data centers at this time. Totally understandable. In addition to his full-time job. When I reminded him that his full-time job should not impact his duties as an elected official, he followed up by stating that his full-time job pays 3 times as much and his commissioner job was a part-time job. He was also unaware that the generally hauling landfill was in his district. Do you find this acceptable, Commissioner Cox? And you can see Exhibit 7A, and that's the email I sent to him that I never got a reply from.
It's not true.
Question number 9. There are numerous properties that the contaminated creek runs through from the generally hauling landfill on its way to the Merrimack River. Many owners were unaware of the contamination until I spoke with them. These owners reported that the county had raised their property taxes. Shouldn't the county be reaching out to these property owners and warning them of potential cancer-causing pollution instead of the memo that reads this property is not to be discussed with anyone and raising property taxes? Excuse me. Last I checked, polluted property is worth substantially less. And you can see Exhibit 4A, 8A, and 8B. So all those exhibits that I have is all supportive documentation to support everything I'm saying. I'm not just saying anything willy-nilly. It's all got supporting documentation with it. Question 10. Given that Franklin County originally founded and owned the landfill in 1975, does the commission acknowledge its responsibility to ensure the site's proper closure? Documented infrastructure failures are causing hazardous runoff to leak into the Merrimack River watershed, creating an escalating environmental and legally liability, not just for my farm, but for the entire region. And you can see Exhibit 9A, which just shows that Franklin County was awarded the first operating permit. And, I mean, you guys started the dump. So if you guys could respectfully get me written responses on these in a timely manner.
I don't see that as a problem. I don't have an answer to all these, but I do have an answer to the one statement you were making about me and the district.
Which question are you referring to?
Commissioner Overschmidt and myself personally visited that area and spoke to Miss Generally, his sister.
Yeah.
So for you to portray that we don't care or haven't been there
I didn't say you haven't been there. I said you didn't know it was in your district when I called you.
So I just went there because I just got lost and ended up there. Is that what you think?
What I'm saying is, when I called you about it, you were not aware that this landfill was in your district.
I made you aware that Commissioner Overschmidt and myself does not divide up the county into districts. We both go to concerns.
Oh, that's fine.
We don't say this is my district and this is your district. We go together and solve a problem. We both had different skill sets, and we've been very successful at that. So if you want to portray that as something else, that's on you. And then as far as this landfill goes, you put yourself in this situation. You purchase property next to a landfill. So when you're trying to say I'm unaware of something, of being in a district, I'm not the one that bought property next to an existing landfill that's been there since the 70s.
There was no disclosure. Franklin County didn't even tell me.
That's between you and your purchasing agent and
I went
your
to the realtor. There was no
your
disclosure,
filing.
period. And then what about the memo that says this piece of property should not be discussed with anybody?
I cannot speak for other elected officials. The assessor is an elected official, so those answers will have to be gathered from that elected official, and we will get these answers for you.
Okay. Well, while we got the county attorney here, maybe he can clear up.
Betray stuff that's not true.
I'm not trying to betray anything, Ken. Have you visited my farm? I invited you guys multiple times.
I have no reason to visit your farm.
You have no reason
your complaint was the landfill, and that's what we went and looked into.
Then what benefit does it have visiting another neighbor?
And to say, because she's related, that or generally is landfill. That was her family's landfill. Her brother. That's why we went there, and she was actually outside when we approached the area. We couldn't find the landfill, the gate. We finally found a gate and it's locked.
I mean, you're more than welcome to come on my farm and you can see my spring firsthand. That's where all these pictures came from.
We have no doubt that the pictures that you sent in were valid. And we've never done, we've signed, we've done, you portray as though we've done nothing. We've sent in requests to DNR. We signed on for the grant. I mean, those things, it's like if you don't get your way, you're like a little kid, then you're not doing nothing for me. And that's not true. We're doing a lot of things. Oh, Okay, we're not doing nothing. We showed up
I've
out
spoke
there.
here
We filled out
April
a grant
27,
for you.
2025. That was over a year ago. Nothing has been done then. The EPA grant has not been approved. You guys have not
I
sent in
can't
testimony
control the
for the Senate Bill
approval of the
1586 that's going to dissolve it. But if you want to call me a little kid and stuff,
Your
while the county
situation-
attorney is here, how about he answers the question? Because I'm sure you got access
he
to
doesn't have to answer anything.
ChatGPT.
He doesn't
What
work
state
for-
statute
Typically,
does it
we're not
show?
supposed to engage here at all. We're giving you a little bit of leeway, and it's getting out of
You
control.
put
So I'd like to,
yourself and your family in this situation.
I put
We
myself
didn't.
and my family.
You bought the property.
There was no disclosure, and the county knew about it. And the
That's
county
not
did
our
not
fault.
disclose it to me.
That's not our fault.
That's not your fault.
No.
So you're
When that
telling me
thing
this
was
is
put
all
in, I was in
my
high
deal.
school. And you want to sit here and blame everybody else for something you put yourself into, a situation.
It's not
you
me.
placed
This is poisoning the Merrimack River.
I respected your time. Now you respect mine. Or
I don't
you
gotta
can
respect
leave the
anything,
podium.
Ken.
Are you going to respect my time to say something?
If you want to answer my question,
Either leave the podium or I'll have you removed. How's that?
how about you have me removed? Why don't you listen to the state statute or tell me what the state
Your time's
statute
up.
is that says county
Your time's
commissioner is
up.
part-time?
Because all
Your
you want to be
position
is
pays
argumentative.
$80,000 a year, and you're telling me you're too busy with your full-time job.
Deputy, could you help Mr. Roberts to his seat if he refuses?
Dude, this landfill's poisoning our
Thank
community.
you. We appreciate
and you
your
guys
testimony.
just want to go on the defense.
You can either be assisted to your seat or you can
Well, I
go
would
to your
like
own
to know
seat.
what state statute states that
Deputy,
this is
could you
part-time.
please assist him to his seat or out of the building? One of his choice.
You do not have the authority to remove this individual with the guidance that we've been given.
That's interesting.
Anyway, could you state
Commissioner,
what state
or,
statute states that county commissioner is part-time? You told me that per Missouri state statute. Look it up.
That's my information from our legal counsel. So
Mark, could you let me know what state statute is?
There's no state statute that says it's a full-time job either.
But there's no state statute that says it's a part-time.
There's none
It
that
goes
says-
off
there-
of
There's none that, hold on, you talk and then I talk.
Yep.
That's how we have a conversation.
sounds good.
There's no statute that says it's a full-time position and it never has been.
Okay. So I guess technically they could just work 1 hour a week, and since it's not in the statute, that's
They,
acceptable.
they can work whatever time a week that they think is necessary and appropriate to carry out their duties.
I gotcha. Okay. So when Ken, like you said on the phone call, you've been tied up with data centers, your full-time job, I don't think that's acceptable. Your full-time job seems to be getting in the way of some of your duties.
I'm not
I'll
really.
take exception to that. We both put in a lot of time here for the county, a lot more than part-time, so.
And we've
I'm a
we've
little
been
good with that.
respectful of your time. So now you're disrespecting everyone else's time here that wants to get up and speak. So
Well,
I
I've been
ask you-
disrespected this entire time because as we speak right now, I got cancer-causing chemicals coming up in my backyard where I'm trying to raise a family, and you're over here telling me I'm acting like a little kid, and I did this.
You are. You're not getting your way. So it's like no one's helping you when they are. We're trying to help you, and you're not helping your own situation.
Okay, well, tell me this. Since when I spoke April 27th or March 20, when I spoke last year, what has been done that has affected
Mark, do
this?
we just proceed this then?
I'm sorry?
We can't continue on like this. So we just
Okay. Well,
proceed
I'll
on.
remove myself from the podium, and you guys can go on with your business. But I do expect written responses to all these. I mean, is that something you guys can do?
And Mr. Roberts, for your information, the Sunshine Law does not require the commission to answer any questions. The Sunshine Law
Is for- yeah.
is a production of documents law. So to the extent
documents.
that the records exist, and they don't have to create any, if the records exist, they can answer your requests.
Okay.
But they're not required to answer written questions or oral questions or otherwise.
Oh,
It's simply the Sunshine Law says if you request a document or a record as those terms are defined, then we're required to produce them as long as they're public records. But
Okay.
that doesn't require the commissioners to answer questions. If they
Okay.
choose to do that, that's up to them, but that's not a requirement under the Sunshine Law.
Is this something you guys are willing to choose to do? Will you answer these 10 questions with the supporting documentation? Like I said, they're not just off the hip questions. These are valid questions with, you got all the supporting documentation there. Is that something you guys are willing to do?
We're going to go by the legal counsel, so we'll do whatever we're required
We
to
just
do.
said you're not required. So is that, I mean, just be straight, have a backbone. Either say, no, I'm not
Nothing
going
to
to
do
do
with
it.
backbone. I had no problem with answering questions.
Be a little respectful to our commission.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
You say what?
You've had over your 3 minutes.
So you guys aren't going to answer the questions?
No,
You're not going to answer them.
Our next
I
speaker
think you
is
guys should
Charlotte
resign.
Smith.
Lack of leadership, lack of backbone.
That's your opinion. That's your.
Man, it'd be a shame if cancer-causing
Welcome.
chemicals came up in your backyard where your kids play. Be a real shame, wouldn't it? You wouldn't tell me I'm acting like a little kid. Shame.
Thank
on
you for your
guys.
time
No.
and your concerns.
Fuck you, Ken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
really.
professional of you.
Well, we lost professionalism. And I'm going to say something too. Your son-in-law that's running, if he wins, you should resign. There's no
Oh.
reason to have two family members on a 3-member council because then you guys can run a monopoly.
Last I checked, it's the people that put people in office, not myself. So if the people want someone, the people will place them there.